Disney, you're getting robbed. You should probably check where the money is going. $180 million into the Acolyte, and this is what you got to show for it. Disney, check the wallet, check the books, see what's going on at Lucasfilm, because there's something not adding up there. Unless Lucasfilm really just backloaded all of the budget onto the last 4 episodes, it doesn't make sense. This is not the quality you are looking for. Not the quality you're looking for. Anyways, well, I mean, maybe this is the best they could do with $180 million, and that would be a sad state of affairs. I'm Liffarian Parzer, here to talk about episode 4 of The Acolyte, the glorified walking simulator that breaks the Phantom Menace. 88 years before the Phantom Menace. Again, Sith extinct. The only way to fix what happens in this episode is if everybody on that planet dies, and nobody could report Force user with red lightsaber, a crying kyber crystal, exists. Because the Sith are supposed to be extinct. So extinct that Darth Maul was a surprise to the Jedi High Council. So there you have it. You can't have a Sith alive, so everybody, including all the light side users and all the dark side users, must die on the planet. Unless you're telling me that the Jedi here in the High Republic era, they definitely are high, respect what their villains choose to identify as. So if this person behind the mask with the red lightsaber decides to identify as not a Sith, then the Sith are still extinct, you see? So if they respect personal identification, if the Jedi in this era of Star Wars respects that, then people could escape that planet and be okay. Also, Jedi Master Mundi is alive and already has the rank of Master, which doesn't make sense because he wouldn't be alive during this time, and he definitely wouldn't be a Master, because that's just not how the... Read up on the lore. Please do some research on the lore before making these episodes, Disney. You're spending and wasting a lot of money just to break something that you already had. And I'm glad that some people, because of the Acolyte, are doing reaction content to the Clone Wars again. Because, man, decent Star Wars. Finally, something that is good. And I understand. Some people say, no, it breaks it entirely this episode because the Jedi Council in the meeting, Jedi Master Mundi is there in this episode, and they're talking about May and how she's killing Jedi Masters and how she's going around assassinating people. I don't think that's enough to call May a Sith, and I don't think that's enough information to go on to call whoever trained her a Sith, because May is so inept with the Force that it doesn't seem like a Force user trained May, right? So the Jedi could assume that the person that trained May was a physical fighter, a bounty hunter of sorts, a swordsman of sorts, or assassin or a ninja of some sort or another. And so they wouldn't assume Sith right away, especially since here, 88 years before the Phantom Menace, where they still think Sith are extinct, would still think that the Sith are extinct and can't be training May. So they would assume that the person that trained May is not a Force user, which makes sense because May gets outclassed by Soul, and they have video evidence of that happening. So a Jedi Master completely laying down the law on May would make the Jedi Council think that May doesn't have any of the Force powers that would equalize the playing field, or doesn't have the ability to utilize those force powers because she was never trained in the power of the force. So, no, unless the people on the planet survive, the Phantom Menace is still intact. People could assume that the Sith are extinct. What really sucks about this episode is that we realize that with $180 million, Disney did not have the ability to hire anybody that could write good dialogue or good scripts, did not hire anybody to do research on the lore, did not hire anybody that could do visual effects, set designs, audio effects, make the green screen look less cheap. I don't know where the money goes to, honestly. It didn't go to the actors. It didn't go to the production side. It didn't go to anybody that wrote anything, because honestly, if you paid them a little more, maybe you could squeeze out of them something that coherently makes sense. Why does May turn to the Jedi? Why? Like halfway through this episode, May just decides, you know what, Mr. Potion Seller Man, Osha's alive. That changes everything. Are you telling me that you had off-screen character development because you tried to kill Osha yourself in the last episode? You locked her in a room and burned the door. Apparently stone could burn, and you knew that full well. So you were trying to cook her in a room. And now you're like, well, you see, now that Osha's alive and I had time to think about it, maybe revenge on the Jedi isn't exactly the right call to make. How did you make this decision? Where was the turn? Where was maybe following this person that's a bit creepy and tells me to kill people is not exactly the best idea. Storytelling, gentlemen. But hey, we can't blame them. They only got $180 million and a 14% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. I'll go into more detail probably Saturday. You know how this goes. See ya.